All right, joining us now, the quarterback of the Detroit Lions. Detroit getting ready to host the draft, Jared Goff. Jared, I was thinking about this earlier. It's been 8 years since you were the first overall pick in the draft. Does it seem like it's been 8 years?
It flies by, and everyone always tells you that. But yeah, it does fly by, and um, yeah, it's hard to imagine that it was that long ago, and that I'm going into year nine. But I feel as good as I've ever felt, and I've had fun so far. So I'm still trying to enjoy this journey.
I remember when the Rams made the trade to get the first pick in the draft, and Jeff Fisher, who was the coach at the time, tried his best to keep everyone guessing as to who it was going to be. When did you know that it was going to be the Rams taking you at number one?
I always tell people like you never know for sure because anything can happen on draft night, and there can be trades and anything. But um, when I was on my visit with them, I had a pretty good idea that they liked me. I don't remember how far in advance that was, but had a pretty good idea. And then by the time the draft came around, my agent represents both Carson and I, so we had a pretty good idea that I was going to go to the Rams and he would go to Philly. So yeah, the day of or within that week, I had a pretty good idea.
Was it Philly if it wasn't the Rams for you, or was there another team that you thought maybe you'd end up with?
Well, Philly had the two. The Rams traded to one. Philly traded to two. Um, by all accounts, it was Carson and I, so we kind of knew it'd be one of those two teams.
Yeah. Would you have any advice now as Caleb Williams gets ready to be, presumably, most likely, barring some unexpected development, the number one overall pick in the draft this year?
Yeah, man, it's enjoy the night. It's a fun night with your family. Enjoy it. Soak it all in. Um, it's never easy. Once you get to the NFL, there will be challenges, but do your best, work hard, and have fun.
You recently said that the trade that sent you to Detroit was the perhaps best thing that ever happened to you professionally. Give me something tangible, something specific that helps us understand why it is that the trade has unlocked, a higher level of performance and happiness and just overall goodness for you.
Yeah, it's a good question. Um, I feel like it helped me grow and perseverance or adversity and hard times or going to the bottom typically does allow for that growth and that um, uncomfortability creates the growth and all that. That's what happened. And I wish there was I could give you a better example than that. But when you're uncomfortable and you're forced to figure things out and things aren't good and it's hard and we're 3-13 or 0-10, whatever we were that year, it forces you to learn and to grow. And for me, it certainly did. And I know I've said it recently, but it was much more than just football. It helped me grow as a person, as a teammate, as a leader, as a quarterback, obviously, but as a fiance to my fiance and as a son, all the whole thing. It helped me grow and be a better person.
What was it that happened halfway through the 2022 season or thereabouts when it just changed? Like everything changed, like the clouds parted, and all of a sudden the Lions are winning consistently immediately after they were losing consistently. Was there something specific that sparked that?
That's another question I get all the time. I wish there was one thing. We weren't playing like horrible football. I didn't feel like we just couldn't figure out how to win late in the games. And just things just kind of kept going our way. And I think what changed is we learned how to win late in the games. And I know that's like not a great answer, but it's the truth. And we weren't playing like all that horrible early on, and being able to finally finish them with some W's and get hot there in the middle of that year um, showed that.
Is it just a matter of, and I don't want to make it overly simplistic, having the confidence in those moments? Like you do it once or twice and you develop the mindset that it's almost inevitable. We're going to do this. We believe we're going to do it. Let's just not think about anything else except going out there and doing the thing that we know we can do.
Yeah, it is. It really is just belief. It's belief, and then having players knowing when those moments are that typically do change the game, whether it's the fourth quarter or the third quarter, even early in the game, there's moments that tip the scale one way or the other. But it really is belief. When you believe it, the ball tends to bounce your way, and guys tend to make more plays. And when you believe in each other, it's a good thing.
Last year, magical season, came up a little short of the Super Bowl. I want to focus on the most positive aspect I can take from this. What do you take from the postseason experience from last year that helps this year? What from the loss, something that you can glean from that and apply to this year that gets you over the hump and gets you to New Orleans for Super Bowl 59?
Yeah, I think just having that experience is really it. Just being in those moments and winning those first two games at home, and then being in an NFC Championship game against a really good team on the road, and being able to go through that experience as a team. Obviously, it didn't go our way, and we didn't play our best there in the second half. But um, being able to have that experience together, and to know that, if we're able to work hard again and get ourselves into those moments in the playoffs, to be better prepared in some ways, maybe mentally, to like know when those moments are, kind of like what I just referred to, of knowing when those moments are that change the games.
Jared, I've been a big believer that Chris Spielman, who played for the team for years, is now back kind of behind the scenes, doesn't seek out a lot of credit, doesn't seek out the spotlight, but I feel like he's had a lot to do with just the mindset and the transformation. Am I wrong about that? Am I right about that? And is there something that you can share that you've seen Chris Spielman do that kind of establishes the mindset that the Lions now have?
Yeah, he's been amazing. He really has, and it's a role that I would argue a lot of teams should have. That kind of he's able to kind of coach everybody, and I know the coaches feel that way too, where he's able to give them feedback, and in some ways, coaches don't always receive feedback, and I think he's able to be that guy that kind of can see everything and give them some feedback as well as us. He's been great for me. He's given me great feedback when I've needed it, and coached me at times on certain things, and he's a big part of what we do, and we're thankful to have him.
Give me a teammate of yours now that doesn't get enough praise, doesn't get enough credit for what he does for the team.
Oh man, uh, it's a good question. I'll go with a guy that probably doesn't get a lot of guys get a lot of praise because we have a lot of good O linemen and a lot of good players. But Brock Wright, our tight end, um, Sam Laporta obviously had the huge year as a rookie, but Brock does a lot of the grunt work. When he does catch the ball, he makes big plays with it. He's a great blocker. He's a great teammate. He does everything right. He practices hard. He works hard. He just does everything right every day. And having guys like that is extremely important to overall success.
Hey, 49ers noticed it, made him that offer.
Right.
Lions matched it, keep him around.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and it was a lot of people were like Brock Wright, but that blocking tight end is the guy that can easily get lost in the cracks. I'm not going to ask you a contract question. I'm just going to ask this. Do you have a deadline in mind as to when you'd like to get something done? So I guess
That's
that
not
is,
a that's not a contract question.
it's not about the contract. It's just about, when the
Yeah.
contract might be done.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that was easy. Tell us what you have going on with Jared. Jared.
Yeah, it's been, I was able to partner with them earlier this offseason, and obviously the natural part of our names being the same makes it an easy partnership. But it's been really cool to get to know their company and their messaging, and know that it aligns with a lot of the stuff that I believe in and my values. And next week we have an event here in Detroit during the craziness that is draft week, where we'll be able to host some super fans and give back in a variety of ways, and have some surprises for some people as well. So it'll be fun. It's been a lot of fun to be able to be partnered with them and see this thing grow.
Used to be the schedule would come out a week or so before the draft. Now it comes out a week or two after. Is there anything you look for immediately when the Lions schedule lands on your phone?
Yes, there is. I want to know when we're playing our divisional games typically. And typically they're towards the end, right? They'll stack them there towards the end, but you'd like to know, like, that's the first thing you see is like, okay, who's it gonna, typically those games kind of decide the division, and you look to see those and go, okay, that's who we're gonna play to hopefully win the division.
How big of a deal is the Thanksgiving opponent?
Um, I have never seen it as like who it is. I don't think it really
Yeah.
matters. I don't think so.
Don't you kind of want
It's
the
always gonna
Rams
be
this year? Don't you want the Rams? They're coming to town this year. Wouldn't you like, I mean, doesn't that just fit with Thanksgiving, kind of dysfunctional family issues and awkwardness and right? Wouldn't that be great?
whoever it
Reunions
is,
that maybe you
whoever
don't
it
want to
is,
have.
whoever it is, it'll be great. It'll be a
Yeah,
fun game. It always is.
and it's great that you don't have to worry about Aaron Donald anymore.
That is great. That is a great thing. He's a hell of a player, and I'm happy I don't have to play him.
I have to let you go, but can you give me one specific example of how it was a pain in the ass to practice when he was on the field and you guys couldn't get
Yeah.
anything done because you're throwing people everywhere?
he's just in the backfield and you're trying to run certain scheme on how you're going to block this guy out or block this guy down. And he's not where, every other three technique will be. And so you're trying to get things ready and he's typically in the backfield or he's making a sack in practice and it's kind of throwing off the timing of the play. And yeah, it was frustrating.
Well, the Rams won't miss that, but they will miss what he can do on game day. It'll be fun to see how it goes this year. Jared, congratulations on all the success. Thanks so much for some of your time and all the best moving forward this offseason.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.